Well, hello there. Okay, so we're doing Horrorhound memories, and I'm a little bit nervous because part of me is like, I want to remember everything, but then another part of me is just like, it's so special and I need to savor my reminiscing, which is kind of ridiculous, but I don't know. Um, so starting out, the first person I met, obviously, was Emily, because she came. And I remember, like, my mom had, like, texted me or something and just said, like, hey, we're outside, like, and I had tried calling them. And so I ended up calling Emmy because my mom wasn't answering, and I was like, oh gosh, is there, like, a problem or something? But I found her right away, and she, like, got out of the car, and I remember, like, we wanted to, like, run to each other, but my mom had parked in, like, the middle of the street, so we both had this moment of, like, looking and seeing if there was a car coming, and then we, like, hugged right away. And it wasn't, like, I mean, it was kind of, like, awkward at first, like it normally is. But then, like, as time went on, obviously we got more comfortable with each other, especially once we actually, like, got back to my house and left and went to the jam session on that Thursday night, which was amazing. And I know it wasn't, like, part of the weekend, but that was probably, like, my favorite moment with Emily. Because it was just, like, I got to, like, share music with her, and she got to share music with me. And I got to, like, introduce her to my town and, like, the people in my town. And so I know it isn't, like, within the Horrorhound time frame, but that was probably my favorite Emily moment, because we didn't really get much time to say goodbye on Sunday because of all the snow. It was so insane. It was just crazy. But it was lovely, obviously, because we spent most of our time in line. It was lovely to be in line with Emily. She was so happy and so, like, upbeat about everything. And I'm like a positive person, but it's always nice to have, like, other positive people around, like, sort of, like, pumping things up as well. Because, I mean, I'm not, like, I don't know, like, I don't like to worry about things, and I like to just be happy when I want to be happy. I'm a very complicated person. But it was nice because I had someone who was just, like, completely happy and, like, awesome and a little bit hyper, and it was great. And so we went to Cincinnati together, and we had our little car ride over, and we just sort of, like, talked most of the time. I think we just talked. And then we got to Cincinnati, and I was, like, texting Whitney and Sam, and I didn't know about Mick. I know that this is obvious, but I didn't know. Mick had, there was like a tweet or, like, a post or something that sort of made it sound like Mick was going to a con, but not recently. It had been, like, back in January, and it was, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know if I'm actually remembering this correctly, but I sort of just remember a tweet, and I was like, oh, she's gonna surprise someone, but it never occurred to me that it was gonna be Horrorhound, like, not straight over my head. Completely missed it. But I was just waiting and stuff, and I was so excited because I knew what everyone looked like, and I was just so, like, so pumped. And so Emily and I were just sort of waiting, and my mom was, like, completely pissed off because they weren't letting her check in before 4. But then all these other people related to the con started coming up and asking about rooms, and they started giving out their room keys, so then she got really mad. And so I was just sitting there with my mom, like, fuming beside me, because she wanted to go and get checked into the room so that they could, like, go back to their hotel room and basically, like, get out of the mess that was already stirring. And so I'm pretty sure that she was, like, going up to talk or something, and Emily, I don't know, we were all just sort of talking, and I hadn't gotten a text from them. I'd gotten, like, oh, they're coming, they're on their way, but it had been a while, and I was like, oh, it's probably gonna, like, they ran into something. And then all of a sudden, like, I had been, like, watching the door, like, waiting for them to walk up, and all of a sudden I look up and they're, like, inside, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, they're here. And my first instinct was like, get up and hug them right now. Hug. Hug first, ask questions later. That's my internal monologue. I sound like a drill sergeant. Hug them right now. So I went up, and Whitney was like the first to come in, and I was like, come here! Because I get like, I don't know, like, I'll talk about this later at the end. But so we hug everyone, and I remember like hugging them and seeing Sophie and Sam. I'm like, this is great. And then there was like this tall woman behind them who was like sort of going in for a hug, but not really. And I was like, who is this lady like creeping on us? Like, why is this woman so close to us? And then she takes off her sunglasses, and it was Mick. And I was like, oh my god. Because I was like I said before, I had no idea. And it was just like, Mick is here, and Mick is so pretty, and Mick is so tall, and it was just like beautiful. Oh my god, the sound effects that I'm making, what am I doing? I'm just so excited. I apologize. I can't believe I just did that. Who am I? Okay, I just waited like 30 seconds. So we're with them and everything, we're all just kind of like, oh my gosh. And like we're having this moment, and my mom, like after we sort of all break up from our like group hug or mass hug or whatever happened, and I was about to like ask my mom to take pictures or something, and she was like that one guy, she's like, I think his name's like Lou Temple, whatever, the mustache guy. He was like checking in when you guys were doing all that, and I was like, no. And she's like, yeah, she was like, you completely missed him. And I was like, apparently Lou had, I don't know, there was something about Lou throwing away a bunch of letters and saying that it was all fan mail, and so then my mom didn't like him from there on out. I don't know if that's true. I don't know, like, if he read them and he was throwing them out. I don't know. I'm not going to judge, because I really like Lou. He's a cool guy, and even if, I don't really care. As long as they're nice at the conventions, I'm like, whatever, dude. So we got checked into our room, and we all like packed everything in, and then it was just like, I don't know, it was just like, what do we do from here? Where do we go? And I was texting Allison, and she was like, the line is crazy, you need to get over here. And then I looked out the window, and I was like, the line isn't that bad, and I didn't realize that it like wrapped around the building. So going back, sorry, I'm trying to tell the story, but then I'm like, you already know this story, and I was trying to go by people, but I got distracted. So Whitney is like one of my favorite people. I just love Whitney. Like, she's such a sweetheart, and she's so pretty. And there are, like, I don't know if this is like with you guys, but there are certain people, when I meet them, and I know within like the first 5 seconds we're gonna be friends, and I could like, there's something about me where I can just look at someone, and I don't know if it's like a psychological thing where I just decide that, and then I like find a way to make them my best friend. But there's just something about certain people that I see them and I'm like, you. And that was what happened with Whitney. I feel like even if like we hadn't met through the Rita Sluts, if I had just like run into Whitney, I would like be in love with her, and I'd be like, Whitney, we're best friends now. Surprise. And Whitney was just, I don't know, so great. I remember at the pool party, Whitney, you were looking beautiful. And I don't know, I'm bad at remembering specific moments, because all of it is kind of like a massive, like, here are my feelings about you. I forget why I feel these things. We got checked in, we were all waiting in line, we met Norman Reedus, we had our photo ops too. Remember when we were waiting in line for photo ops, I think on Sunday? Was it? No. Saturday. Friday? Oh, when was it? We were waiting in line, and I just remember that because I have a video of this that I haven't posted. because I haven't seen it since we took it, but we were in the photo op line, and it's Whitney and Mick in the video, and I'm like interviewing them, and it was just, I don't know, it was so nice to have you guys like right there. I want to say it was Friday, but it felt like we were talking about stuff that had like, no, because we did the creepy smile, so it would have had to have been Sunday. But Sunday was the day when I had to go get Sophie. Or maybe I got her and then we waited in line. I think that's what happened. Okay, I am so sorry. It's been 10 minutes. But I love Whitney, so there. And we'll go with Sophie next because I don't remember who was after that. But Sophie, I love you to death. You're just like, I know that everyone has already said that you're tiny and cute, and I'm sure that that is something that you hear like on a daily basis, but you're tiny and cute. I can't. You're just too much for me. And your cute little accent, and I had like this goal like 2 years ago of like having like a conversation with someone who's British. And I like have had conversations with British people, but I feel like I finally officially like checked that off of my list. So thank you. I don't know why I winked. Sophie, you're so sweet though, and you're just like, ugh, like, oh, I just can't. I'm like, whenever I think of you guys, I think of like us saying goodbye, and I don't want to talk about that yet. Ugh. I'm so bad at remembering specific things. Oh my gosh. I remember that on Sunday I had to go and like get you out of the line and like be super responsible, and like the ladies there like believed what I was saying and they like helped me, and then we waited in line together. And I leaned on you despite you being much shorter than me. And it was a beautiful thing. And I just like, you're so cute, but you have this thing where you can pull your shit together and be menacing if you want, which is even more adorable. I'm sorry. But it's just like, I love that you're like not, I don't know, like you're not afraid. It's really cool. Like when Creepy Guy was coming around and you were just like, nope, get away. And I was like, Sophie is good at this. Like she is good at deterring the creepers. High five. Ah! Okay. So next we'll go with Mick. I've already said it, that you're tall and beautiful. And I think that everyone has said that you're tall and beautiful almost. But you're just like one of like the sweetest people, and there's just, I don't know, there's something about you where it's like, I feel like I could talk to you forever and I would never get bored. And I just remember you telling us this stuff on like Saturday, and I was like, she's telling me, and then I was like, Mick thinks that I'm her friend, and then I was like, I'm Mick's friend, and I was like so excited by that. I don't know, I was like, Mick is so cool. I felt like I was like 14 again, and you were like my teen idol, and I was just like, ah, I love you, and I love you. You're so sweet, and you're so cool, and like, I don't know, like when you talk to people, it's just like you can tell that they're like under your spell. You're just like so good, and especially at the party, like you were working it, and I was like, go Mick, like this is awesome. Okay. We're going to do Sam, and then I'm going to talk about saying goodbye. Ugh. I just, like, there's so much, like, little specific things, but I don't know, like, I want to talk about you guys and how much I love you. And then maybe some random Horrorhound memories. I don't know, I feel so apprehensive about this because I know that I'm not going to be able to say everything, and so part of me is like scared to record this because I'm just like, I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to be like, I forgot this. I didn't say enough. My pauses were too long. Okay. So Sam, I love you to death. I remember the first time, this isn't really Horrorhound related, but after I posted my video and you like responded with a reaction gif, and we had like this reaction gif thing. And I remember thinking that if I didn't stop responding, you wouldn't stop responding. And then part of me was like, wow, like this girl really likes talking to me. And then you only got cooler from there. Because I remember thinking at first, like, maybe she's, like, one of the creepy ones. Like, maybe I found myself a creeper. And while I do have a few creepers, you're not one of them. Despite you may disagree with that. I don't know. You disagree with that. But you're not. I love you. I mean, it makes me feel, like, extremely narcissistic saying that I love you because you love me. And I just feel weird about that. But I just, like... Hearing that you were, like, squeeing when you heard my songs was just like, oh my god. Oh, this is amazing. That's awesome. But I met Sam next, and we sort of had this moment where she was like, and I was like, come here and give me a hug. I like to hug people. No, I can't talk about this yet. This is for the end. Okay. So yeah. You are just, like, the coolest person. You are just so cool. I'm almost out of battery. But like I was saying, you're just, like, so awesome. And I feel like everything you do is just, like, coded and cool. And you wear all black, which I love, because I love Ian Malcolm, and Ian Malcolm wears all black and gray. And I just, like, you, like, that little piece always sticks out to me because I love Jurassic Park so much. And the fact that you, like, have that little similarity, I'm just like, it's perfect. But you're just so cool, and, like, when you're talking to Clark and Reminisces, you're just, like, so, like, cool, and you say, like, exactly the right thing, and I don't know how you do it, because you don't look like you're nervous at all, and you just look like you're, like, it's just, I'm just talking to Norman Reedus, it's nothing big, how you doing, what's up, man, nothing much, okay, see you later, I had a great time, you know, I could have seen you, I could have not seen you, it was nice to run into you, and you're just, like, so cool about it, and I feel like I'm just, like, sitting there, like, in awe of your coolness, and you're pretty, too. And you're just so talented and artistic. And I didn't get enough time with you at Horrorhound, so I'm really glad that you're coming back because we need more time together. I was so sad that I didn't get to see you on Sunday. Like, when we were driving home, I remember when we were all together, and someone, I forget who said it, but someone was just like, Sam isn't here. And then I was, like, crying because I was like, no! I can't. And then I was sitting in the car and I just kept telling myself, like, you didn't get to say goodbye to Sam. And I was like, no, I can't think of that, because I was literally gonna, like, break down just thinking of not being able to say goodbye to you. I was just, like, completely, like, distraught. And I love you to death. Like, I feel like we're, like, really good friends, and it's just, like, I mean, we're like, really good friends with everyone, so it's kind of like a moot point to say with the group, but I don't know, like, that's just, like, I feel like we click. And I was so glad that you went to see John Carpenter with me, because I was like, oh my god, like, that's John Carpenter, like, that's, like, John Carpenter, like, and you were there too, and you were so excited, and you knew who Tuna Todd was, and you'd, like, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, she knows horror movies, this is amazing, and it was so awesome. I talked about Emmy, Whit, Sophie, Mick, Sam, so that's 5. So now it comes to any specific moments. Whitney and Mick, thank you so much for getting drinks on Saturday, like, the first time, because that Jameson, just, like, I don't even know how to properly explain how awesome that was that you did that, even though it was something, like, really tiny, but it was just, like, we all had our drinks, and we were all just sort of, like, hanging out in there, and that was, like, the downtime was so great with you guys, like, all of you, because I just loved, like, spending time with you. Like, Emily and I, like, we played Connect 4 here on my floor, and then Sam and I were playing Connect 4, and it was just, like, I don't know, like, little games, and doing Whitney's tarot reading was so much fun. I remember, I think I did a tarot reading for Mick, too. Yeah, I did. I love doing tarot readings, and you guys are, like, the only people I've done tarot readings for. And I got to do, like, palm reading and stuff online, and that was so much fun. Thank you so much for humoring me with that, because it's just awesome, and I really love to do it, but I don't have a lot of people that I do it with who would put up with me, like, having to check things in my book, because I'm not a professional palm reader. But yes, so, oh my gosh. You know what I just saw? I have this has 13 pictures on it right now. Wait, what if I do a picture of me? No, I don't want a picture of me. I don't want it. I don't want it. What am I gonna take a picture of? Okay, I'll take a picture of my room. Maybe I'll turn the lights out. Okay. So I just took that. That's going to be in our pictures. I hope that you enjoy. As you can see, I'm wearing my Horrorhound shirt, a VIP badge in this, which I've sort of like ghetto fastened with a bobby pin. Michaela is back talking on Facebook, saying goodbye. It was like one of the hardest things. Like, it was just, the only way that I was able to walk away with Emmy was by telling myself that I could go back. And I just kept telling myself, like, I'm gonna turn around and say, like, one last goodbye to them. And even when we were, like, walking to the car, because I realized that we'd walked around to the wrong side and we could have gone out the bottom doors. And I almost turned around and went back through to see you guys again. But then I was like, no, that would destroy them, because we actually probably could have seen you for, like, 2 more seconds. But then I was like, no, we already said goodbye and I can't do that to them. But it was just, like, I have this thing where I'm, like, consistently I'm the person that I'm, like, the shoulder to cry on. And I think it was Whitney that said that I had, like, the best hugs. So I guess I figured out why people cry on me. Not that I mind at all. I don't know. I sort of like mothering people and, like, holding you to my bosom and saying, oh, here, child, it's fine. Everything will be alright. And I don't cry with people. My best friend in the entire world has never seen me cry. And so, if that says anything about what it was for me to cry in front of you guys. And when we were walking back and I was just, like, sobbing with Emmy, it was, like, oh, so impossible. And it was just, like, I was hugging Whitney, and I hugged Whitney forever, and then, like, I don't remember the exact order, but I hugged Sophie, and I hugged Mick, and everyone, like, we were all just, like, crying into each other, and then, like, I held Sophie for, like, a really long time, I remember, because she just came up, and she was so short, and I was like, come here, baby. And I didn't want to go. I was so sad that I didn't get to see Sam again, and I was so sad that I had to leave you guys, and it was wrong. That's the word to describe it. It was the wrong ending. That was not the ending that we were supposed to have. We were supposed to finish the day together, and we were supposed to be together till the end, and we were supposed to say goodbye properly with everyone involved, and we didn't get that, and that's something that I will always be mad at. And it's not like I blame my parents at all, because obviously we ran into the huge snowstorm and I had school the next day. But I blame the universe. But looking back, sort of like Sam was talking about, like, with the cranes thing, and maybe if Emmy had stayed in line and told her story, you guys wouldn't have come back and, like, seen them. I don't know. Maybe that would have happened. Because he wouldn't have had, like, a super great excuse to hang around, you know? Maybe it was a good thing that we left early. I'll try to tell myself that. But I couldn't help but think, like, the entire ride home, and it would make me cry harder, but it was just, like, we deserved a better ending than that. And it sort of brings me to the song, which I want to go through and talk about. But those are my favorite ones with you guys, and just, like, playing apples to apples, and I won apples to apples, motherfuckers. I never win that game, ever. But it's just, like, we know each other, and we know, like, the humor of each other, and so it was, like, I knew what each person would want to hear, and if I had it, then I could give it to them, you know? It was good. It was just like so much, it's just so much fun hanging out with you guys. And it was like, even when we weren't doing exciting things, we still all had like the greatest time together. So now I'm going to go get the song and go through lyric by lyric and explain to you what it all means, because it sort of ties in with this. In here, you can't see it because it's backwards because I didn't want it to fade, but I have Emmy's Search and Find. Maybe you can see like the faint lines of it. And I have autographs in here. I'm just gonna take a moment. Michael Ricker, motherfucker. So much pretty. And then I have your Christmas cards and various Christmas cards, and just, and the envelopes that they came in for most of them, and like the return addresses. But here it is, right beside the return addresses. Until we meet again. It isn't goodbye, it's so long. That's sort of obvious. That was Lou's line. I'll try to find where I belong, because it felt like whenever I'm at a convention, but especially Horrorhound, it was just like, this is where I belong. Everyone here is like on the same plane as me, you know? Back in hotel rooms, sleep deprived, expensive drinks, that's all pretty self-explanatory. And we're flying high again, you know, we're just having such a great time together, and nothing can bring us down. Oh, Captain, my Captain, an obvious reference to when Whitney had Captain and Coke, and then we had Captain and Coke, and it was just like, oh, Captain, my Captain. And I don't remember if I was the first one to say that, but I think I might have been, because I had just watched Dead Poet Society. I don't know, maybe it was someone else. But I just remember that like sticking out in my mind. 8 hours is the longest wait time. It actually turned out to be something like 9 or 10 hours, because there were people that were waiting sort of like in the middle who had gotten there before the cutoff time and were waiting longer. I'm not sure what the actual longest wait time was, but it was more than 8 hours. But at the time that I wrote this, I thought it was 8, and I like 8. 8 hours for the Rapture. The Rapture sort of being like the end of everything. And it's sort of ironic that meeting Norman Reedus is like the end, but that was kind of like the purpose that we had going in, and so it was sort of like your reason for being there. So I don't know, it's more like trying to like over dramatize the whole experience, because to us it's a really, really big thing, but to other people it might not be. Greet the dead, meet their future friends is with The Walking Dead, meeting the people who are already dead, like Sarah and John, and their future friends. I wrote that line because the day after, or on Sunday actually, I found out about Merle, obviously, and he was their future dead friend, so that's where that comes from. I hope it all never ends, sort of like my whole, like, mantra with it, like, that I just hope this never ends. And then the final line, the chorus, and I don't, it still hasn't, because it doesn't feel like it's ended, despite it being 6-7 weeks. I think it's been 7 now. It hasn't officially ended, you know? It's not like we've had our official end, and it's sort of, maybe that's part of that, is like not getting the end that we deserved. But I remember especially writing this, it had been a few days after, and it still didn't feel like it was over. It still felt like I could go back to Cincinnati and everything would be the same, and you guys would be waiting there for me. Separated by oceans, a plane flies. Pretty self-explanatory, because like Sophie is separated by an ocean and the planes fly to get here. It's feeling a lot less deep as I explain it. Icy roads, dangerous snow. Obvious icy roads and there was dangerous snow. But it can't die, going along with the experience. Like, no matter what happens to us, from here on out, what we had here is never going to be gone. What we had at Horrorhound is something that's going to be with us forever. Serenade the Men. Serenade Norman Reedus. Blush, they say, because he said that he was blushing. Tinge on their cheeks, because he was in fact blushing, and it's way more apparent when I look back on it, because he was like, I'm blushing, and I'm like, no, you're not blushing, and I look at the pictures and I'm like, that motherfucker was blushing. I can wait. That's the thing, that it's I can wait, not I can't wait. And it's I can wait because the whole, I mean, a lot of what conventions is, especially Horrorhound, was waiting in line. And it was like, this is so worth waiting in line, and I'm fine waiting. And it sort of goes along with, like, the whole, like, idea of life and not getting everything good at once and having to wait for what is really good. And that one line specifically means a lot to me, because it's all about patience and appreciating the littlest things, and finding beauty in the journey. So enjoying waiting in line so much, instead of just sitting there by yourself making dirty looks at people, like that, you know, like just finding happiness in everything. And it's like, I can wait, because sometimes waiting is almost as good or even better than what I'm waiting for. Did you see we were matching? That's just a question to Reedus. Did you notice that we were matching? We were matching. Because I was cosplaying when I sang to him. And then it goes back to the chorus, and then it goes to the bridge. So normally I'd hide my tears, because normally I would not cry in front of people. But I've grown. You helped grow me. Sort of going back to you guys and just helping me sort of through a lot of things, and realizing how much I've grown in the past year and how much you've been a part of that. I don't want to hear words, so I don't speak. That is a direct reference to when we were going back in the car, and I just remember, like, putting my earphones in and not wanting to talk to, like, my mom or Emmy or anyone about it, because I didn't want to hear them saying anything, and I didn't want to say anything. I just wanted a good hour to, like, mope by myself. And I think halfway through the drive, I, like, took out my earphones and we all started talking again. But I just, like, needed that time to, like, recover and, like, cool off after we, like, broke in half. Why do we do this to ourselves? Sort of, again, the question that I think I said it to you guys when we were all, like, saying goodbye. And it was just like, why do we do this to ourselves? Like, why do we get so attached to people that we know we're going to have to say goodbye to? And it's because they mean more than the pain. What we have is more important than what we might feel when we have to break off. And it's something that is so worth what we put ourselves through. And there's very few people that I can say that for, that are worth enough to me for me to get attached to them and not be afraid that something might happen to them, or that they might do something to the friendship. Like, no matter what happens, we're always going to have this, and nothing can ruin it. And it's so worth saying goodbye. But it isn't goodbye. It's so long. I love you guys. That's the song. That's my batch of memories. The way that my mind works is I pick out little details of things that just, like, stick out to me, and that's a lot of how I write my songs. A lot of them are little details that I carry with me from things that I've experienced. So yeah, that is this. I love you, and hopefully I get this uploaded soon.